Reports of a potential threat to our nation from Cuba. Axios is reporting the communist island nation is buying attack drones from Russia and Iran. So far, some 300 drones. And the communist government of Cuba recently began discussing plans to potentially use those drones to attack U.S. targets, including Guantanamo Bay and possibly Key West, Florida. Here's retired Navy SEAL Mike Sorelli.
The drones are concerning one sourced by both Russia and Iran. Would Cuba make the fundamental mistake of attacking the United States? It would be their doom. For Cuba, what Trump has done is put them into a position where this regime can fall without a shot fired. We saw Maduro in Venezuela go down. Now Iran, another source of financing and material support for Cuba. They are isolated. The best scenario for them is to play ball, or they will lose this regime.
So listen to this. Cuba's foreign minister accused the United States of fabricating a, quote, fraudulent case to justify economic sanctions and potential military intervention. And this quote, Cuba neither threatens nor desires war. Here's Cuba's nightmare, though, an extreme energy crisis. Look at that. Their power grid has collapsed, triggering crippling blackouts. The Trump administration is aggressively pressuring the regime to reform and demanding the removal of foreign spy technology. And focus with me now, former Miami mayor and Cuban-American Francis Suarez. Great to have you. First of all, is it even realistic that they would hit Guantanamo Bay and other U.S. targets with those drones they bought?
It's hard to believe that even the 300 drones that they have, and I've actually seen pictures of what they look like, would have the capabilities of penetrating our air defense and actually hitting sovereign American territory. However, it's something you have to take seriously. You know that they have, and there's reports that Iranian, people have come to the country and are teaching them on their technology and how it succeeded in Iran in trying to maintain control of Hormuz and strike U.S. bases. So they're collaborating with our enemies, and they've been collaborating with our enemies, whether it's China or Russia, for decades. Remember that Russia taught Cubans how to spy through KGB training, and that China has been using Cuba as a spy base just 90 miles away. So none of this makes us feel good, and I think Secretary Rubio and his team have done an excellent job of understanding what the real threat of Cuba is. Not just military, not just spying, but also it's a threat of inculcating poverty in our hemisphere, which creates immigration pressure in the United States. If you don't like illegal immigration, you shouldn't want the current regime involved.
So that is a really interesting point. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on today is because you have a unique understanding of Cuba. I mean, as the mayor of Miami, you had a lot of reason to keep your eye on those people who sometimes try to make their way illegally into this country via there.
Yeah, let's just say I would be persona non grata in Cuba right now with the Cuban government. My father, of course, was the first Cuban mayor of Miami. My father was the first Cuban mayor of Miami. His father was jailed by Castro, and my uncle, his brother, was killed in a Cuban jail. So we have a long history of opposing the Castro regime and the communist regimes. Why? Because we understand fundamentally that it does absolutely nothing for the Cuban people. The per capita income of Cubans is $5,000 a year. Of course, what we've seen in the Cuban diaspora and the exile community in Miami is a community that's thriving. Miami has the lowest unemployment in America, the highest median wage growth in America. So what's happening? We've embraced American exceptionalism. We are legal immigrants to this country, and we are prospering under a capitalistic system, while Cubans are living in the dark ages, essentially, and they're being repressed.
Yeah, I mean, they have no grid. They literally are living in the dark. Real quickly, just in terms of what we face, it's not 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis, but 300 drones, if they aim them in certain spots and hit vulnerable targets, can do some damage. Do we go kinetic early? Do we prevent? Your quick thought on what the next steps for President Trump should be.
My quick thought is you don't send the CIA director to a country if you're not serious. I think this is part of what I call the boa constrictor strategy, where he continues to constrict and create pressure so that he can negotiate with higher leverage and then act if the opposing person or the opposing country doesn't react or doesn't make the right decision. It's very clear the strategy has been articulated and executed in Venezuela, Iran, and they're not mincing words. The CIA director said by social media, do not make the same mistake that Venezuela made. He said it in his own words. So I don't think that they're hiding the ball. They've been very transparent about their strategy, and they've been very successful in creating generational peace and prosperity for our country.
Professor Suarez, in the Focus today, thank you and welcome to the Fox family as a new Fox News contributor. Good to see you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.